for gossip and entertainment only. Let's get started.
Hello, gossipers. Sharona here. Hope everyone is having a fabulous time. Anyways, I'm out on my back patio, so if you hear birds chirping, plane flying, stuff like that, it's because I'm out in nature. So we're gonna talk couple celebrity stories here, but before we do, you know what I'm asking. Please like, share, subscribe, spread the word, spread the channel. Let's keep growing and let's get into it. So, celebrities, a lot of them are creators, and they create clothing lines and makeup and scented stuff like candles and bath washing, stuff like that with celebrities. And then you find those who are going a little bit too far, if you get what I'm saying. So, for example, Gwyneth Paltrow, she did a candle, and the name of the candle is "This Smells Like My Vagina." I am not joking. They're selling for $75, and it says Gwyneth Paltrow's lifestyle brand Goop sells a candle described as having a funny, gorgeous, sexy, and beautifully unexpected scent. The candle is said to evoke feelings of seduction, fantasy, and warmth. Its scent is a mixture of citrusy bergamot, I don't even know, damask rose, cedar absolutes, geranium, and amberette seed, whatever those are. But yeah, so they're saying those are all the scents that are mixed in, yet still she calls it "This Smells Like My Vagina." So where am I going? Stay tuned. Sexy Red, she came out with a line of lip gloss with names like Yellow Discharge, Coochie Juice, Blue Balls, Sex on My Pee, the woman's monthly. And I'm like, why are these celebrities want to give this shock factor? Because it's shocking, right? To name a candle smells like "This is what my vagina smells like." Then you have lip gloss with Sexy Red with those names: Coochie Juice, Yellow Discharge, Gonorrhea. And for her fan base for Sexy Red, young girls, not mature women. Still, I would not be buying a lip gloss with no Yellow Discharge. But her followers, most of her fans, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it. Sexy Red displays ghetto. Yes, I'm sorry. Tell me I'm this, I'm that, but I have to speak it the way she presents it. And it's not cool, especially when your fan base is young girls or young teenagers. And I know people like to say, well, it's the parents need to raise them. What people don't know is that sometimes they have accountability in what people see or people do because of what they see and do. Yes, fine, you're saying if you raise your kids the proper way, they should not stray or they should not. Yes, but in some instances, so why would they go and buy and support Sexy Red? Going to support someone who has a candle of that name and lip gloss of that name is because you like the person, you want to support them, and you feel like how they feel. Come on, make it make sense. I would never want my child or my young teenage daughter to, "Oh, Mom, can you buy me a Yellow Discharge lip gloss to put on my lips?" No, none of that crap. So the reason why I called those two out, Gwyneth Paltrow and Sexy Red, is because now actress Sydney Sweeney, she wants to come with a soap that incorporates her bath water. You're hearing me correctly. Now we're going to read this quick article from TMZ, and we'll come back and it says, Sydney Sweeney, I'm selling my used bath water. Yes. Now, this is the actress from Euphoria. She stars alongside Zendaya. And right here it says, move over, Gwyneth Paltrow. Sydney Sweeney's got a new way to bottle up her essence, turning bath water into a beauty empire with a soap bar that's particular her in every bit of a lather. Let that soak in. The Euphoria star has teamed up with Dr. Squatch Soap Company for the Bath Water Bliss Bar, complete with a certificate confirming it's made from the very water she's bathed in, as well as some outdoorsy notes in a pad to her Pacific Northwest roots. So you hear that, right? It's a limited edition. Folks, there are just 5,000 bars. So there's only 5,000 bars. And because it's real, Sydney's booked busy, and there's only so much bath water. And there's only so much bath water a diva can squeeze out for this. To check out more Dr. Squatch products, click here. So you could go to TMZ and click on it. But I'm like, vagina candle, lip gloss with all kind of STD names and sexual references, and now we have Sydney Sweeney selling bath soap, so that when you're having a shower, taking a bath, you have a part of Sydney with you. Now she's a sex symbol, so I see all the guys running to buy from her because she's a beautiful woman, and yeah, the guys are gonna go crazy to purchase the soap. And with these celebrities, even if they don't use their own product, they know that there are people out there who are obsessed with them, who wants to be close to their favorite celebrity. So if they're gonna market a product and their celebrity, some kind of essence of the celebrity will be in the product, they will surely go buy it. And like for Sexy Red, the problem is, her audience, you have young girls there, and I wouldn't want to see a young lady underage talking about, I'm gonna put some gonorrhea on my lips. You know what I'm saying? But yes, Sydney, welcome to the body sales of people who want to buy stuff to get closer to their celebrity people. So gossipers, what are your thoughts on this story? Again, please like, share, subscribe. Now let's get into the other story. Let's make this one a quick happy story. So congrats goes out to Martin Lawrence and Eddie Murphy. They are now in-laws because Eddie Murphy's son Eric Murphy and Martin Lawrence's daughter Jasmine Lawrence privately tied the knot. So Eddie Murphy revealed it, and guess what? It was just the two of them there. It was private. And he even joked on the Jennifer Hudson show that now Martin Lawrence does not have to pay for the wedding. So yeah, these are kids who are private. They're not in the media. They don't want that type of attention. And to see they have such famous fathers like Martin and Eddie, and they could just go and do stuff themselves without being followed or harassed by people or paparazzi. So congrats to them. Again, they did it privately, just the two of them. No family, friends around. I'm not quite sure. They might have a party to, for people who weren't there to celebrate with. But for now, they did it privately. Congrats to them. And yes, so on to the next story. So this story is also from TMZ, and it has to do with WNBA player Brittany Griner. Now, apparently she went to a hotel. She went, I'm going to read the article, but basically she went to the hotel. There was a note that was left on her door, and it said, "Gay baby jail." Now, when I first read that, I'm like, what does gay baby jail means? Does it mean because she's gay and she has a baby that they're going to go to jail? Or she should be in jail for having a baby because she's gay? It was like, the way they do these headlines, you're like, what the crap is going on? So we're going to read the article and you're going to hear exactly what it was. So it says, law enforcement clearly took Brittany Griner's gay baby jail note concern seriously. New police video obtained by TMZ Sports, TMZ is all over, shows two cops initially investigating a matter. So it says the bizarre scene unfolded back on February 17th, and we're just hearing about it, at the Gaylord National Resort and Convention Center in Maryland, after Griner told officials at the hotel she discovered a handwritten message in her room that she found to be threatening. Prince George's County Police body camera footage shows just a couple hours after the WNBA superstar hastily bolted from the area over the letter, two officers rolled into the lobby in an effort to get to the bottom of the situation. You can see in the video, a hotel staffer showed them what the note looked like before he took them in an elevator to get to the room. While on the way, the employee told the cops the message was taped to a door. He added that Griner was the one who found it. Once inside the room, cops not only located the gay baby jail message, they also found a piece of duct tape on another door that read private. They ultimately determined the notes were likely left by the previous room's occupants who were in town for Katsukan, a convention for Japanese pop culture enthusiasts. The meme, listen to this now, what it means. The meme, gay baby jail, is used among people in the culture to describe a situation in which progress through a game is impossible. One of the officers wrote in an incident report after canvassing the scene, in other words, your video game character is gay, meaning happy. Baby is the game character, and jail means can't escape. So it had nothing to do with Britney, nothing like that, no homophobia, nothing like that. Nonetheless, Griner, who was in town for a planned speaking engagement at the Women Grow Leadership Summit, left the city without fulfilling her talking obligations, something summit official had no issue with. So because of this note, she ran away and did not go and did not meet her obligation to speak at this Women Grow Leadership Summit. Now, what she should have done was get another room. If you don't want to stay in that hotel because you feel threatened, not knowing what the situation was, then you go to another hotel, right? You're Brittany Griner, I'm sure you could just walk in, they see you, and you'll get a room. But no, she bolted. Maybe she didn't even want to do the talking, who knows. But the other thing I was saying, that in a hotel, when guests checks out, you come and you clean the room, right? So if you're cleaning the room and you're exiting, because to me it seems like the written note is on the inside and not outside. And if anyone had to put the note there, then it had to be someone who worked at the hotel, right? Because how would they know who's coming in that room? The people that were there prior, they don't know that Britney's coming there to say, you know what, this gay WNBA player is coming here and she had a baby. Let's put this note right there, right? If you get what I'm saying. So yes, none other than it was just unfortunate incident where she was in that room. And again, if you're supposed to clean the rooms when people leave, you need to look properly. And if it's on the inside, when you go in to clean, sometimes the doors are locked, right? Or sometimes they just pull the door. So unless the cleaner, the hotel cleaner did not see the note when she opened the door and just pushed the door all the way back where it's open to the lobby, so she didn't see it, and upon leaving she closes it, but the paper is there. Or if she goes in there, if it's cracked a little or closed, upon exiting, you're supposed to see it. So it was nothing other than a misunderstanding. Again, let me just tell you what it means. Gay. Gay is also happy. you can use the word gay and it means happy. I guess it depends on the situation you're in, but I'd like to think you know when to say gay from gay, if you get what I'm saying. And then the baby is a game character, and jail meaning you can't escape. But still, in a game, you have a baby, a happy baby that can't escape. But that's a game, it's a joke. So, yes, and she shouldn't have left. She went there for a speaking engagement. Again, like I said, fine, don't stay in the hotel. Leave that hotel and go somewhere else. But, maybe she didn't want to. So, gossipers, what are your thoughts on this story? Did you think Britney took it too far by saying she felt threatened with that note, not knowing exactly? And do you think she draw the same conclusion like I did? Like, I'm this gay person with a child, they're coming after me, or were you like, there has to be more? And do you think the hotel is responsible with their cleaners not checking, the doors or whatever when the guests leave? The other thing that was also kind of sad about this is that when you read the comments, Britney, she has a very deep voice, like a male voice, right? And I can't remember what she said it was from. But in the comments, they were like, oh, that man knew it wasn't about him. He's just overreacted, referring to her as a dude because of the way she sounds, right? So that wasn't good. But other than that, yeah, like I said, if she wanted to go, she would have went to another hotel if she did not want to stay there. Because I'm sure they would have offered her another room. But hey, she didn't want to do that. So we're going to go on to the next story. Just tell me your thoughts on that. So the next person on the list is Smokey Robinson. So I don't know if you remember Smokey Robinson on May 6th. Some of his past employees came out with a lawsuit. They were seeking $50 million, accusing him of the R word and harassment. Not only were they accusing Smokey, but they were also accusing his wife. And on May 15th, an announcement from the Sheriff's Department of the Special Victim Unit, they came out and said that they're investigating these allegations against Smokey Robinson. So we're going to do a quick read here. Well, Smokey, in return, also filed a defamation lawsuit against those workers, which he should. Smokey Robinson is what, 82, I think, or 82 or 85. One of those. He's between 82, 85. And, he's saying, like everyone does, I'm innocent, I didn't do this. But they also included his wife, saying that she knew what was going on and she didn't stop it, or I don't know how she was involved, but they included her. So Smokey, he's fighting back. He has his image to obtain. He's been in this entertainment world now for decades. And at 82, for this to come up now, the way they can accuse him, he has the right to fight for himself, his reputation, and everything like that. So we're going to read this quick article, and it's from the Associated Press. And it says, Smokey Robinson sues former housekeepers for defamation over R allegation. Smokey Robinson has filed a defamation lawsuit against 4 former housekeepers who accused him of R and prompted a police investigation. Robinson and his wife, Frances Robinson, filed the counterclaim Wednesday in Los Angeles Superior Court against the women and their lawyers, whose allegations they say were fabricated in an extortionate scheme. The filing is a fast and forceful legal and public pushback from the 85-year-old Motown music luminary in response to the woman's May 6th lawsuit and a May 15th announcement from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department that its Special Victims Bureau is actively investigating criminal allegations against Robinson. So he's 85. The women are seeking at least $50 million, alleging Smokey Robinson repeatedly and sexually assaulted them in his home when they worked for him between 2007 and 2024. They said Francis Robinson, a co-defendant, enabled him and created an abusive workplace. So that's what the ladies were saying, and good for Smokey. I say, if people can dish it on you, you should be able to respond how you want to respond to them dishing it on you. Because it's we're in this time now where when somebody says it, you have to believe it. Especially with the Me Too movement with the women. If they said it happens, people aren't what, innocent until proven guilty. It's now you're guilty and you have to prove that you're innocent. So good for him. If he did it, shame on Smokey. Shouldn't have. They deserve what they get. But if he did not do it, then he has the right to fight. And I don't care if it's for women or, no. If you can accuse a man of being so vicious and vile, then he should be able to return the same response to you and let the courts figure out who's telling the truth or not. So we'll keep you updated on the outcome of this. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else on Smokey we need to speak on. And we just have to wait and see what happens. But again, if you dish it to someone, be prepared for their reaction to what you dish. Anyways, gossipers, what are your thoughts on this? Let's go on to the next. So as we reported on Tuesday, Todd Christy and Julie Christy, they were given a pardon by Donald Trump. So that was on Tuesday when he made the announcement to Savannah, their daughter. Comes Wednesday, he signs the pardons and they are out. So yesterday, Todd was released to his daughter, Savannah. And I think they split the pickup duties. So Savannah got her dad, and then Grayson, their 19-year-old, he went to pick up his mom, Julie. Now, a lot of people are upset because they're like rich people, white people, it just comes like that. But Trump is pardoning a lot of people. And a lot of people are saying these people that he's giving pardons to, they don't deserve it. What about the white collar person? What about the mother who because of her kids, she lied on an application for food stamp and, she's sentenced to years in prison. Just situations like that. Now, I'm not saying what the mother did was correct, but compared to what some of these people who he's pardoning and not looking at just the regular people, because Todd and Julie Christy, they went in for tax fraud, for millions of dollars. And each was given, Julie was given 7 years, Todd 12, and they served 2 years each. And now they have the pardon. So, people are upset. And there are other people who he pardoned. And I know a rapper, I think they call him NBA Youngboy or Young something. But this is a rapper. He was on charges for possessions of, I guess, firearm and stuff like that. And, you don't want to judge people. And like I said with the earlier story with Sexy Red, I'm sorry, but when you present yourself a certain way and you do things that mimics how you want to portray yourself, it's not in a good light. If you're one of those rappers that rap about effing women and blowing up this and that, it's, I don't know. I can't say it, but I just know people are upset and they're wondering, what about the everyday average man who was put into jail for 10 years because they forgot to pay their light bill? Just cases like that people were saying that these were only rich people. And, with them saying that President Trump is a racist, he pardoned 2 black people that I know of. That NBA young boy and some other guy, and he looks like he was a dealer with everything. And the only reason why he did that it's because they have money. If it was some poor rapper or some poor man who's whatever, yeah, everybody pardon. These are people with money, so whatever. So we're done with that. And I must confess, I like Julie and Todd. I like their show. They're very entertaining with their shows. I did not follow their case that much. And I know a lot of people were saying that the time that they got was so excessive. 7 years and 12 years was a lot for the tax fraud and the amount. I'm not quite sure how much the amount was, but they were like, they wanted to make these people, an example. Like with everybody else, they want to use this person as an example to tell people not to do. But there were talks behind the scene that, Todd had people who did not like him, and they just wanted him out and behind bars, and, stuff was done. And their daughter, Savannah, she has been championing for her parents all this time, the 2 years, because she was left with her brother Grayson, who was, I think, 16 at the time, and her niece slash sister, that's another story, Chloe, I think she was 9 or 10 when they left. So now they're both out, they're home, they can, sleep in their big king size bed in their big house, and, just hopefully given a second chance, just like with this NBA young boy. You've been given a second chance. And, he came out and he thanked the president, and, this is life-changing. And, well, hopefully, let's see how life-changing it is. And for him, the NBA young boy, it's not like he was even in jail. He was, I think, house arrest, waiting, I guess, to be sentenced, whatever. But, yeah, so, second chances. Not a lot of people can say they were granted, second chances, but hopefully, they walk a straight and decent walk for, because they were given this opportunity. Anyways, enough of them. So let's talk Jussie Smollett. Hopefully this is it for Jussie. So it says Jussie Smollett donates $50,000 to Arts Center to settle Chicago's lawsuit. So although the actor's conviction for filing a false police report was overturned because of a previous deal with prosecutors, the city wanted him to pay for its hate crime investigation. And it says Jussie Smollett, the former Empire star, announced that he had donated $50,000 to a Chicago charity to settle a lawsuit by the city about his claim in 2019 that he had been the victim of a hate crime. So even though it was overturned, it's overturned. Even though it was overturned, which I think a lot of people didn't know that he had already did a deal with prosecutors. That's why he wasn't going to jail. The city still wanted him to pay something for, the investigation and things like that. And I'm guessing he had to donate to something. So that's why he donated to the Arts Center to settle the Chicago's lawsuit. So hopefully this is with Jussie Smollett, and $50,000 paid, done. Jussie, yeah, that's it for that story. Okay, so let's do this quick story and Jess Hilarious from The Breakfast Club. So she is getting a lot of transphobic backlash because on The Breakfast Club they had a guest, and I don't know, is it Vani? I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. So Jess Hilarious instance said that only women can have babies, which was met with a bit of pushback this week on The Breakfast Club. I'm going to see if I can find the clip. As guest, Lenny Vanny told the stand-up comic that anyone with a uterus can have a baby, even if they don't identify as a woman. Jess agreed while stressing, yes, if you have a uterus, you can have a baby. So I don't need to read anymore. Basically, the backlash is because she said any woman. Now, when you're a trans person, you're born a female, but then you trans to a male because that's what you say you are. And if you're a male, then you trans to a female because that's what you are. So for a trans male to say, I can have babies, men can have babies, Jess was like, but if you identify as a man, then you shouldn't have babies, or you shouldn't be talking about man having babies. You're identifying as a man. But then the guest speaker is like, no, even though they might identify as men, they still have their ovaries, or sorry, their uterus, which, they can still make babies with. My only problem, to me, it's like the word woman and born a woman and woman can have babies and periods is like, if you stand for that, you are prejudiced.
Somebody who knows that women can have babies.
Oh, okay.
Only women can have babies. I just want to let you know that.
Interesting. There are other people who can have babies.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if they have a uterus, they can have babies. But they just might not identify as women.
Okay.
Those are two different things. Like, you can be biologically female, but you can't be biologically woman, because woman is a gender construct, a social construct. But if you got a uterus, yeah, you can have a baby.
Yes, that's the point. If you have a uterus, you can have a baby.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we agree on that.
And I don't know why we're in this time now where if you say you're a proud woman and that you can naturally have babies because God made you as a woman and women have uterus, so we can have babies. A lot of people take offense to it. And I don't see why. Why is it you're going to take offense to what we say, but if you say it, then we're supposed to sit back and go, you know what? The trans community, they can say we're men and we can have babies, so there's no such thing as a woman having babies. It's just people having babies. There's no gender of who can have babies anymore. There's no such thing. Let's get rid of that. Because basically that's what they want to say. Now, somebody might be listening to this and go like, you're dumb or this or that. No. Dude, they're not trying to get rid of anybody. They just want you to be accepting of a woman who's now a man who still has her uterus. She too can have a baby and be identified as a man having a baby. And we see this a lot. This world that we're living now with all these labels, and people love to say they don't like labels, but yet still you're telling us to call you a label. Now, if you're a trans person or you're, all these pansexual, I've even heard gay people say they don't know what's going on in their own community because they themselves, they don't know what a pansexual is, this sexual, that sexual. So if your own community can't even understand labels that you want people to call you, how can a straight person know? You know what I'm saying? It just, it rubs me the wrong way that we're to this time in life where I can't say, I'm Sharona, I'm a proud woman, I see period, I can have a baby, without it being seen as, you're degrading, you're putting down because that person. Remember, naturally born women can also not have babies. Why? Probably there's a problem with their reproductive organ, or they just can't have babies because they have a disability or an illness that prevents them from having babies, getting pregnant. So, real women also experience not having the pleasure of being a mom if they want to be a mom. And then, you have your adoptions and surrogacy, stuff like that. So, real women, they're feeling that too when they can't have babies the way how, for a woman, it's God put you here to have babies and they can't. So we need to get to a place in this world where we can somehow compromise, live together without me having to say under my breath, I was naturally born a woman and I can have babies, without it offending those who weren't naturally born women and at a later time in life realize that, this is not who I am. This is not the body I want to be in. It's a lot. It's a lot. But anyways, gossipers, what are your thoughts on that? Did you find what Jess said offensive? And is it because it's coming from her? And she's, problematic. Jess, she says stuff. My problem with Jess, I didn't like her when she said that Spice and Erica Mena had the right to say that Spice was a blue monkey. Call a black woman a monkey. And I said it's because she's Jamaican and not American. Because if Erica Mena said that to a black American, an African American, I'm sure Jess would not be cool with that. But because she's a Jamaican, and in our country, Jamaica, we don't have race problems the way they do in the U.S. So, when she said that, maybe that's what Erica Caesar has, a blue monkey. We can't say anything. From that, I was like, to hell with you, kiss my ass, all that. But I guarantee if she said it to a black American, Jess would not say it was okay for Erica because that's what she saw that black American has, a monkey. Anyways, on to the next. So we're going to close it out by talking Diddy. So a second woman who testified today, she's going by the pseudonym Mia. So she accused Diddy of grape. So they're saying grape, like a fruit, instead of, the word itself. And it says Sean Diddy Combs was accused of grape by a second woman on Thursday as the hip-hop mogul stands trial for sex trafficking and racketeering, charges that could lead him to life in prison if he is convicted. It says a former personal assistant to Combs testifying under the pseudonym Mia testified in Manhattan federal court that the Bad Boy Records founder eyed her at least twice. She said, I was just frozen. I didn't do anything. I just let it happen, Mia said, fighting back tears and staring into her lap as she described an incident in which Combs allegedly grabbed her head and put his pee in her mouth. Shoot. Mia told jurors Combs climbed on top of her while she was sleeping and raped her while she laid frozen with fear. Combs' lawyers have acknowledged that he was at times abusive in domestic relationships, but said any sex was consensual. During the testimony, Combs occasionally passed notes to his lawyers, but otherwise showed little outright reaction. Testimony before a panel of 12 jurors and 6 alternates in Manhattan Federal Court is in its 3rd week. In emotional testimony during the first week of trial, no, we don't need to do that. I want to read more from this Mia because she was telling stories. Hold on. Let me see if I can find that one because I was reading it earlier. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Let me look. Hold on. Okay, so I found another article that I can read from. It says the woman testified that Combs had alleged that he put his hand up her dress, forced her to perform oral sex, and climbed into her bed to have sex with her against her will. She touched on the allegations briefly at the start of her testimony and was expected to discuss them in details as her questions continued. Mia, speaking slow and hastily at times, portrayed Combs as a brutal, controlling taskmaster who put his own needs and desires above the health and well-being of his staff and loved ones. She said Combs berated her for mistakes, even ones made by other employees, and loaded her up with so many tasks she didn't sleep for days. It was chaotic. It was toxic, said Mia, who worked for Combs from 2009 to 2017 and co-founded the Revolt Film Studios with him. It could be exciting. The highs were really high and the lows were really low. Asked what determined how her days would unfold, Mia said Puff's mood, using one of his many nicknames. So I guess if he's feeling good that day, then you don't have to worry. But if he's feeling bad, go hide or just don't get on his bad side. Mia said Combs' employees were always on edge because his mood could change in a split second, causing everything to go from happy to chaotic. Mia's testimony echoed that of prior prosecution witnesses, including several of Combs' other personal assistants and his long-term girlfriend Cassie, who saw him as demanding and prone to violence, mercurial and prone to violence. She is the second of 3 women to testify about alleged sexual abuse by Combs. Okay, let's see. Anything else? I think she also said she saw where he beat Cassie, allegedly. And that, she couldn't do anything to protect Cassie. Let's see this. Oh, here goes another thing. Mia testified that she saw Combs beat Cassie numerous times, detailing a brutal assault at Cassie's Los Angeles home in 2013 that the singer and her longtime friend stylist Dante Nash also recounted in their testimony. Mia said she was terrified that Combs was going to kill them all, describing the melee as a little tornado going on. The witness recalled jumping on Combs' back and attempting to stop him from hurting Nash and Cassie. Mia said Combs shook her off, threw her into a wall, and slammed Cassie's head into the corner of a bed, causing a deep, bloody gash on the singer's forehead. I think I've seen the picture of the forehead. I'll post it. Other times, she said Combs' abuse caused Cassie's black eyes and fat lips. Mia said Combs sometimes had her working for up to 5 days at a time without rest as he hopped from city to city for club appearances and other engagements, and started relying on her ADHD medicine, a slow-release version of the stimulant Adderall, as a substitute for sleep. At times, Mia said she was Combs' only personal assistant, taking on duties typically performed by 4 or 5 people. Combs, with residences in Miami, Los Angeles, and the New York area, let Mia and other employees stayed in his guest room, but she wasn't allowed to leave without his permission and couldn't lock the doors, she testified. "This is my house. No one locks the doors," Combs said, according to Mia. Mia didn't appear to make eye contact with Combs, who sat back in a chair and looked towards her as she testified. Occasionally, he leaned over to speak to one of his lawyers. Mia kept her head down as she left the courtroom for breaks. She testified that she remained friends with Cassie. So yes, that's with Mia, one of Puffy's assistant. She worked with him from 2009 to 2017. There was also another story that I don't know who was with Cassie, and it was something to do with Prince, the singer Prince. And Diddy said that they should stay in the room, don't come out. I don't know if he was going to the party or what. Anyways, they snuck out of the house without Puffy knowing, went to the Prince concert, and then Puffy saw them there. And the girl that was telling the story with Cassie, they said that they locked eyes with Diddy and they ran out. And they ran into bushes and trees. I think they were trying to hide. And Diddy came out there and did some lashing. allegedly, I'm going to use the word allegedly, but she said that it was a bodyguard of Prince that came over and stopped the abuse from going on. So, it's nice to see that someone was there on that instance. But Diddy had all these bodyguards around him, like you hear about Gene Deal and all these people who are these big bad men, and they could not do anything because why? It was about money and about job. And if they lost their job, then they would not have money to support their family. So you have all these bodyguards men going around. I saw when Diddy did, what did you do? I told him not to do it, but he kept doing it. I mean, yeah. So gossipers, that's it. I gave you 45 minutes of gossip. Again, please like, share, subscribe. Let's continue to grow our channel. We talked Gwyneth Paltrow and the candles. Sydney Sweeney coming out with a bath soap. Then we touched on Brittany Griner, a big mistake with the sign that was left. And then we went on to Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence, their kids. Congrats to them getting married privately. Then we did Smokey Robinson fighting back as he should. They dealt it, you dealt it back. We also talk about Todd and Julie Christy and Trump pardoning people who, these are rich people that, they should have stayed longer and give the average person some time out. Like I made an example, like a mother who might have lied to get food stamp because, she had to take care of her kids, sentenced to 5 years, stuff like that. No, it shouldn't be done. Let her pay it back or garnish her wages or whatever. And not just rich people you're pardoning, and then you go and you pardon these black men, which these aren't black men that is good for the society. They are the stereotypical black men with drugs and gangs and stuff like that. You would rather pardon them and not innocent black man that was sent to jail because he drove through a stop sign and you give him 50 years because he drove through a stop sign. If you get what I'm saying. And then we went on to Jussie Smollett, paid the $50,000. Just hilarious. I get where she's coming from, but because she's so problematic, it's hard to hear anything from Jess. And then we close it out with Brother Love. I like using the name Brother Love because he called himself that. He named his youngest child Love. And to see that you want to be called Brother Love, but yet still you weren't given the love. To the point where when we saw the video of him going in on Cassie, he talked about, he seeked forgiveness and he's sorry he did it and he went for help only to be arrested. And when they went to search his hotel room, they found the baby oil, drugs, everything like that. So no, you weren't, you only apologized because he got caught and you thought that was a way out of people not thinking. But no, puffy people are Brother Love. People ain't stupid using the name Brother Love when you're a vicious, wicked piece of... Anyways, thank you, gossipers, for listening. Please like, share, subscribe. Thank you.